On the news at 8, President Bola Tinubu calls for rededication to democratic values as Nigeria marks 25 years of uninterrupted democracy. Senate passes 98.5 billion naira supplementary budget for Federal Capital Territory Administration. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu flags off a 10th International Climate Change Summit, launches adaptation resilience plan for Lagos. On the foreign scene, U.S. court finds President Joe Biden's son, Hunter, guilty of 3 counts of illegal gun possession in a high-profile trial. That's in a moment. Please stay with us. Good evening. Welcome to the news at 8 on Lagos Television. I am Yetunde Oladoto Amao. President Bola Tinubu has asked Nigerian leaders to recommit to the values of inclusiveness, accountability and transparency in a bid to guarantee a democracy that flourishes and endures for generations to come. The president noted that after 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, it is time for Nigerians to partake in building a nation where every voice is heard, where potentials are realized and citizens empowered to contribute to national development. The president, who stated this during the Democracy Day lecture at the banquet hall of the presidential villa in Abuja, noted that at this point of the nation's democratic journey, every Nigerian, irrespective of background, must be given a chance to contribute to the nation's shared destiny. President Tinubu, who was represented at the event by Vice President Kashim Shettima, says the lessons learned after 25 years is that democracy is a journey that must be constantly nurtured and watched closely.
We must engage the young and competent, the patriotic and innovative, to join us in crafting a succession plan that secures the future we desire. It is through their strategy, their energy, creativity, and commitment that we will build a Nigeria that stands resilient against the challenges of tomorrow. Let us therefore pledge to create an environment where every Nigerian, regardless of background, has the opportunity to contribute to our shared destiny.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan, in his contribution, notes that the return to civil rule in 1999 marked a new phase of national unity, peace and progress. He cited modest gains over the past 25 years following economic growth, infrastructure development and peaceful political transitions.
Third republics of our democratic experiments were abruptly ended by the military amid political crisis and social tension. In the last 25 years, we have made modest progress in this regard amid some challenges. As a nation, we built an economy that was once the biggest in Africa, in the African continent. We experienced significant infrastructural growth, made strides in the arts and sports, and recorded many peaceful political transitions at the national and subnational level.
There is work to be done, but the beginnings have been made. Building and sustaining strong democracies is a lifelong endeavor for any nation. It is always work in progress.
Other speakers called on politicians to prioritize citizens' need while continually deepening the nation's democratic roots to ensure all Nigerians benefit. In the meantime, the federal government has declared tomorrow, June 12, a public holiday to mark this year's Democracy Day. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who made the announcement on behalf of the federal government, congratulated Nigerians and reiterated President Bola Tinubu's commitment to positive reforms to revive the nation's economy and enhance security. The minister called on Nigerians and friends of Nigeria to appreciate the progress that has been made and look forward to a better future for Nigeria's democracy. He wished Nigerians a happy Democracy Day celebration. Recall that in 2018, former President Muhammadu Buhari moved Democracy Day from May 29 to June 12 in honor of one of the national heroes of democracy, Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola. A bill seeking to amend the Electoral Act to criminalize the failure of a presiding officer to deduct excess votes in a polling unit during an election has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill raised at plenary was sponsored by Honorable Hassan Fulata, member representing Briniwaguri Federal Constituency in Jigawa State. Honorable Fulata says the bill proposes an amendment of Section 51, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act to compel a presiding officer deduct the number of excess votes across all political parties in a polling unit wherever voting is recorded.
Section 51 of the Act is amended by deleting the existing subsection 2 and inserting a new section 2 after subsection 1 as follows. Where the number of votes cast at an election in any polling unit exceeds the number of accredited voters in that polling unit, the presiding officer shall deduct the number of excess votes across all political parties in that polling unit, and the presiding officer shall be prosecuted in accordance with the provisions of Section 145 of this Act, and if found guilty, shall be sentenced to a period of 6 months imprisonment or a fine of 2 million or both. So, Speaker, honorable colleagues, if above amendment is accepted, then there will be no basis for Section 51, subsection 3, and 51(4).
Speaker, I'm worried at the provision or the proposition of asking or making a provision that the presiding officer be made to face criminal liability for cases of overvoting. And I'm saying this, Mr. Speaker, because it is not in all instances that overvoting as a result of the collusion of the presiding officer, and I stand to be corrected. I've had cases where at the period of accreditation, because of the malfunctioning of the accreditation machine, cases of overvoting results as a result of that, occur as a result of that.
I support without any mixed of words, because I see no reason why in democracy, the more the merrier. I see no reason why, for instance, in Bende, less than 50 delegates will decide the fate of who is going to represent them for the next 4 years in a political party.
The bill has been referred to the House Committee on Electoral Matters for further legislative action, while the House has adjourned plenary till July 2nd. The Senate has passed the 2024 supplementary bill of 98.5 billion naira for the Federal Capital Territory Administration. The budget approval followed the consideration of a report by the Committee on FCT, which was laid and presented by Senator Osita Ungu. Senator Ungu, who justified the 2024 FCT supplementary bill, said that the money is needed to develop certain infrastructure in the Federal Capital Territory.
Recommended the sum of 98,500 million only as the FCT statutory supplementary budget for 2024. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, in considering this budget as time was of essence, the committee has worked harmoniously with the House of Representatives to present one version of the report for consideration by the Senate.
Senator representing Federal Capital Territory Ireti Kingebe had raised a point of order to officially lay complaint over our exclusion from the activities of the Committee on the FCT, which she is a member. A point of order was noted by the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, who advised her to, in accordance with the rules, communicate her complaint and present it before the Senate via a motion in plenary.
The attention of the Senate to the fact that I am the highest elected office in the Federal Capital Territory, where 4 million people live. I also want to call to the attention of the Senate that though I am in the committee of the Federal Capital Territory, whenever matters, critical matters like budget or anything to do with the FCT is being discussed, I am never told. All I see is that it has been brought to the Senate.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Federal Capital Territories Administration Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Capital Territory Administration's account, the total sum of 98,500,000,000 for capital projects for the service of the Federal Capital Territory Abuja for the financial year ending on 31st day of December 2024. Third reading taken and passed.
The committee's report, which was approved by the Committee of Supply without opposition from lawmakers, subsequently passed for a third reading when it was put to vote by the Senate President. The 98.5 billion naira approved by the Senate is in addition to the 1.2 trillion naira budget passed in March by the National Assembly. Here in Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has launched the Lagos Climate Adaptation and Resilience Plan and the Lagos Climate Change Mainstreaming Strategy to help galvanize and strategize ways of reducing emission and adapting to change. The historic launch was held at the 10th International Lagos Climate Change Summit. Aditola Kayode reports.
It's been a whole decade, 10 good years of holding the Lagos International Climate Change Summit, a platform for dialogue, collaboration and innovation in addressing climate-related issues. Over the years, there's been a transformational shift in the global consciousness towards climate action. In all of these, Lagos has not been left behind, and going forward, it is not ready to drop the ball. Hence, this 10th edition is not just for discussions, it's more about taking action.
We must accelerate our efforts to mobilize climate finance and channel it towards projects that prioritize local adaptation initiatives. This means investing in infrastructure.
The speech of former Governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Fashola, SAN, who initiated the summit during his tenure, preceded a panel session on climate change initiatives. The journey so far largely reinforced the need for more advocacy and campaigns amongst the people, whilst government takes decisive actions that will be beneficial to this and coming generations.
The Adio Phase 2 water supply must be a priority, and an expansion of that as well. Also, the energy supply and the reticulations of the existing ones must be, in my view, part of the bouquet of requests that Lagos State puts into a plan that can be financed as we talk about climate financing.
When Ministry of Environment goes out there to say, we need to clear this drain, these things must move. Let's not now turn it into ethnic issue. It's not about that. When flooding comes, it doesn't know your tribe. It doesn't know your ethnicity. It doesn't know whether you're a Muslim or you are whatever you are, or a Christian.
We took the advocacy as far as the local government level. An average market woman in Lagos State will tell you about climate change in those days.
We need to ramp up the enlightenment campaigns. We need to let people know that there are consequences for bad behavior. We need to let people know that this environment belongs to all of us. For those that want to make profit, they should not put our own lives at risk. We need to let them know that Lagos welcomes you, but you must behave and comport yourself within the Lagos space.
Represented by his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu chronicled the efforts of successive governments and his administration's vision of sustaining and winning the climate change war in different ways than one.
To say we are resilient is really an understatement. Lagos has and will continue to take significant steps towards reducing our carbon footprint and emissions. We have undertaken studies to determine our carbon emission profile and have identified significant pathways to achieve zero emissions by 2050.
The 10th Climate Change Summit was another opportunity to move the conversation forward as Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by his deputy Obafemi Hamzat, alongside the Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, and other dignitaries, launched the Lagos Climate Adaptation and Resilience Plan, plus the Lagos Climate Change Mainstreaming Strategy to help guide the climate change journey in strategizing mitigating actions. The theme for the three-day summit is Accelerate Climate Finance and Championing Local Adaptation Initiatives. Adetola Kayode, OTV News.
Our next report by environment correspondent Bukola Taylor-Cole takes a look at some climate change-induced incidents across the globe and efforts of the Nigerian government to tackle its adverse effects using local strategies. Her report.
The Dubai floods that crippled activities for days, the flooding in Oman that left 20 people dead, and the flooding in the south of Uruguay, which left about 2,000 people homeless after the Santa Lucia Chico River reached record highs. These and other disasters have been linked to climate change.
It shouldn't come as a surprise, especially with the climate change, as we'll continue to see increased situation where the wet areas will become wetter and the dry areas will become dry, and that is what we're expecting. I will continue to expect more as the climate continues to change and we see changes in weather patterns.
There's intense heat. When there's intense heat, there is high rate of evaporation. And as a balance, again, what happens is it's going to eventually fall as rain. So when there is high evaporation, of course, when it's falling as rain, it's going to also be very, very heavy.
Experts say the burning of fossil fuels is driving up global temperatures and causing more extreme weather, including storms and floods.
Human activities from emissions, from industries, from farmlands, from homes. So there are certain gases, we call them greenhouse gases, that are released from this nature of activities, which causes the globe or the air to warm.
Meanwhile, coastal areas like Lagos are finding themselves underwater. Extreme weather, sea level rise, and other climate change impacts are increasingly to blame.
Globally, countries that either never used to experience harsh weather conditions are experiencing same. United Kingdom, the US, lots of countries in Europe and Asia. So we can't say Nigeria will be an exception. Lagos being a coastal state, 1/3 of our land mass is water. We can't be an exception. So we, like I've often said, we must learn to live with our environment because the environment is the master of man.
Lagos and generally Nigeria, we all generally use generating sets as alternative source of power supply because we don't have constant power supply. And these are very significant emitters of greenhouse gases.
With world leaders taking action against climate change, President Bola Tinubu, among other programs and policies aimed at tackling climate change, established the Presidential Committee on Climate Action and Green Economic Solutions. In Lagos, the state government, apart from initiating its 5-year climate action plan, began cleaning up drainage infrastructure and making them more resilient and banned styrofoams to reduce plastic pollution. With all these efforts, Nigerians must also take action.
We are the inhabitants of this earth and we must take care of it. It's just like asking what does your human activities have to do with your house, where you live. If you don't take care of your house, you're surely going to lose that house. And that is what is happening to our earth today.
Like we're technically standing under this excruciating heat right now. People are trying, to go through the sustainable route. Like now we have the likes of Tesla making, chargeable cars. Although they're expensive as of now, Although we believe that as time goes on, the more there's mass production, the cheaper, something becomes.
The scientists will do their work, but there's a lot that has to do with policies, there's a lot that has to do with behavioral patterns as well. For instance, it's difficult to say people should no longer use generating sets if we don't have alternative sources of power for them. And so there's a lot for government to do, there's a lot for industries and private sector to do. There's also a lot for international intergovernmental agencies to do to support developing countries to reducing what we call their carbon footprint.
No doubt, human activities are driving global warming. It may be a difficult task to convince people to give up habits in order to protect the environment. But with persistent climate change communication, awareness and action, it is possible. Bukola Taylor Cole, LTV News.
Still ahead. Lagos State government calls for precautionary measures against cholera outbreak. Reports increase in severe gastroenteritis cases. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.
Dear Lagosians, we are taking a stand for our city's health and future. The Lagos State government has banned styrofoam food containers to shield our environment and your well-being. Why? Because styrofoam made of polystyrene is linked to severe health risks like cancer, Parkinson's disease, and hearing loss. But the danger doesn't stop there. It is also non-biodegradable, meaning it will remain the same for the next 500 years, leading to clogged drains and increased flooding. Our oceans are also at risk. It harms marine life, disrupting the delicate balance of our ecosystem. Please, let us embrace the usage of only reusable plastic containers henceforth. If you are found using, selling, or distributing styrofoam food containers, these items will be confiscated and you will be prosecuted. Let's choose a safer path with reusable plastics. It's up to us to ensure a vibrant, healthier, and cleaner Lagos for generations to come. Enough is enough. Join the movement.
In my kitchen, every dish begins with quality ingredients.
From the sizzle of the pan to the laughter around the table, Bowl brings families together, enriching every meal with a...
No foaming, no sticky, no fast. Can you hear the scent?
Mom?
Yes, baby.
What's the secret?
My secret is Bowl refined soybean oil.
We power moments of joy and vitality, from the kitchen to the playing field and onto the dance floor. Cook with Bow Oil for the best culinary adventure. No foam, non-sticky, no foul smell, cholesterol-free, enriched with vitamin A and E. Bow soybean oil, keeping a healthy heart.
Thanks for staying with us. Lagos State Deputy Governor Dr. Obafemi Hamzat is assured that the present administration will not relent in raising the bar in public schools in the state. He made this known during the commissioning of the Akisoya Ajaluleru Nursery Primary School in Ejigbo Local Council Development Area. Correspondent Olubukola Kikolisho reports.
One of the promises of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and his team is to upgrade the education sector and to bring public schools in Lagos State at par with international standards. Keeping to the promise, the Lagos State Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, commissioned the Akisoya Ajaluleru Nursery and Primary School in Ejigbo Local Council Development Area.
For us in Lagos, we take things step by step. As you all know, education is one of the pillars of our team's agenda. So fulfilling this is part of this aggregating to the agenda of our state government.
He urged residents in the community to support the leader in the development of the LCDA.
So we are happy that today this primary school, Akisoya Ajaluleru Nursery and Primary School, is fulfilled. And my understanding is we have about 350 pupils already here. So our prayer is that those children will succeed in life.
The school, which is accessible to residents of Ejigbo, is aimed at competing with private schools in that area.
The school's strategic position is expected to enhance socio-economic activity within the surrounding community. The aesthetic appearance of this building and the caliber of teachers deployed to the school by the SUBEB forced many parents to remove their children from private schools around and enroll their children in this very school.
Member Lagos State House of Assembly Honorable Oladipo Ajomale appreciates the council chairman for the establishment of the school and the development of other infrastructure.
If the council chairman is able to deliver such an edifice like this, which I want to believe is of top notch. I was telling one of the cameramen who came to interview me earlier that people always say that private school is the best, private school is the best. And it's because sometimes they look at the infrastructure, they say it's not as beautiful as a private school. But this I can tell you and I can testify that this is even more beautiful than any private institution within this local council area.
With the Pillar E of the Themes Plus agenda of Lagos State representing education and technology, the Lagos State government understands that education is the abinga of any nation. Olubukola Akin Kolosho, TV News.
Proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has filed a contempt charge against the Director General, Department of State Services, Yusuf Biche, over his alleged refusal to obey court orders. Judge Binta Nyako had ordered that Kanu be given a safe and clean room to prepare for his defense with a team of counsel not exceeding 5 instead of the 3 lawyers that were formally directed. The IPOB leader alleged that despite being served with the orders of the trial judge, Bichi had refused to comply with the said orders. Justice Nyako had on May 20 declined to grant an application filed by Nnamdi Kanu to set aside his 2017 bail revocation following the allegation that he jumped bail. However, Justice Nyako revealed the conditions for visiting the IPOB leaders at the DSS facility by his lawyers. In a ruling, she varied the visitation days from 2 to 3 days a week. The First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, says it is crucial to intensify advocacy efforts to eliminate this harmful practice of female genital mutilation. She was speaking at the UNFPA UNICEF joint program on the elimination of genital mutilation with the theme Delivering the Global Promise. She emphasized the need to empower survivors by providing comprehensive medical, legal and psychological services to help them regain their dignity. The First Lady noted that the practice is totally unacceptable as it not only affects the survivors physically, emotionally and psychologically, but also over time have adverse effects which diminishes their overall well-being, restricts opportunities to exercise their rights and hinder the realization of their full potentials. Also speaking, Vice President Kashim Shettima, who was represented by his Senior Special Advisor on Health, Uju Rochas, assured the gathering that the federal government has begun putting together policies and programs that would ensure the harmful practice is totally eliminated. The annual technical consultation of the UNFPA UNICEF is a platform for exchanging lessons, achievements and challenges faced in the implementation of the program. The Lagos State government has called for heightened vigilance and the adoption of precautionary measures to prevent the spread of a potential cholera outbreak in the state. This call follows an excess of severe gastroenteritis cases reported in Lagos within 48 hours. Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, says cases of severe gastroenteritis have been reported in communities around Etiosa, Lagos Island, Ikorodu and Koshofe local government areas, resulting in about 60 hospital admissions, while 5 deaths have been recorded, mainly from patients presenting late with extreme dehydration. The commissioner notes that following recent rains, Lagos State has witnessed a notable increase in cases of severe vomiting and watery stools, adding that urban slums and crowded areas with poor sanitation are particularly at risk. Professor Akin Abayomi explains that cholera is a highly contagious disease and that causes severe diarrhea and can be life-threatening. He adds that it poses a significant health burden in areas with poor water treatment and sanitation and could impact Lagos State. He advised residents to rely on the Lagos State Ministry of Health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, and accredited local health facilities for guidance, advice, and updates on the prevention, treatment, and management of cholera. This next report takes a look at the importance of the eye cornea and how it can be given as gifts of sight to someone in desperate need of a transplant to treat reversible blindness. Suad Aila compiles the report.
It is often said that the eyes are the window to the soul. As windows, they allow humans to view the world. The eyes can see about 200 degrees in all directions. They see millions of colors in varying shades. The eyes have different parts, including the iris, which is the colored part that regulates the amount of light entering the eye. The macula is a small sensitive area of the retina that gives central vision. The pupil is the opening at the center of the iris. The retina is a light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye, and the cornea is the clear outer part of the eye's focusing system, located at the front of the eye. 80% of what we perceive comes through our sense of sight. By protecting the eyes, you reduce the odds of blindness and vision loss. Despite the importance of the eyes, many people tend to ignore the eye when they start giving early signs of defects.
Most people don't even have the culture of going for an eye test. Most people don't even know that they have glaucoma until they've lost the sight of one eye completely, and they start having accidents, maybe bumping into people and sort of like doing things. They can't reach out for cups or things like that on their table.
There are hundreds of different eye diseases and vision problems. Some have no cure, but many others are treatable.
Some people, they need glasses. Some people need some corrective procedures. Some people need eye drops so that they can see better. So what we have come out is that we need to ensure that everybody has access to care and that we are part of the implementation of the universal health coverage and universal eye care coverage for the world.
Although medical science has no way to transplant old eyes at this time, people now benefit from corneal transplant to treat reversible blindness. Donor corneas make this amazing sight-saving surgery possible.
When you see people and you say, you have brown eyes or blue eyes, that is because you have looked through the cornea and the cornea was transparent. If you have a car with a dirty windscreen, you'll hardly be able to see through to drive.
We have a condition called corneal opacity. The cornea is not seen. It's common in children and many other people, and people are blind from this. But if they get another cornea, the front of the eye, replaced for them, they can see again.
In Nigeria, 98 cornea operations with over 90% success rate have been performed, but more can be done if more eye banks are established. Your eyes are an important part of your health. Regular eye health appointments and eye examination is key to correcting or slowing most eye conditions. In addition, eating a healthy diet, wearing sunglasses, and giving your eyes rest can keep your eyes healthy.
Gunmen at a Kabul community in Ikereduru local government area of Imo State have killed 2 policemen and a civilian. Spokesman for the Imo State Police Command, Henry Okoye, says the Commissioner of Police, Danjuma Aboki, has deployed the command's special tactical squad to collaborate with other security agencies and clamp down on the hoodlums responsible for the attack. The police spokesperson said the incident occurred in the early hours of today when hoodlums suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra and its armed affiliate, Eastern Security Network, were on stop-and-search operation in Akabo community. While commiserating with the families of the deceased, the Commissioner of Police assured the people of the state that no stone will be left unturned in ensuring that the culprits are brought to justice. And from Kaduna State, Council reports that the governor, Malam Diko Rada, has promised to defeat banditry following the recent attack on innocent lives at Gidan Boko village in Kankara local government area of the state. The incident, which took place recently, claimed the lives of 26 people. The governor, while extending his heartfelt condolences to the families and loved ones of those affected, joined the state in praying for the repose of the souls of the departed and comfort for the bereaved families during these difficult times. He recognized the tireless efforts of security forces who continue to confront the criminal element that threaten peace in the state, urging that this administration remains firmly committed to eradicating banditry and all forms of criminality within the state. Governor Rada says the state government is actively working with the federal government and relevant security agencies to implement a comprehensive security strategy to end this menace. He assures of a heightened security presence in Kankara and other vulnerable areas, emphasizing enhanced intelligence gathering capabilities to proactively identify and disrupt criminal activities throughout the state. Coming up, Nigeria Immigration Service unveils plans to inaugurate e-visa for short visits. That's in business news. Please join us again.
On Business News tonight, the Nigerian Immigration Service, NIS, has unveiled plans to inaugurate a more accessible e-visa application channel for short visits in line with the Nigeria Visa Policy 2020. The plan was announced by the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Kemi Nandap, at the graduation ceremony of the 12th Command course of the Immigration Command and Staff College in Sokoto. The Comptroller General said the new channel was designed to streamline visa processes, foster foreign direct investments, and boost tourism. She reiterated a commitment towards the full implementation of the e-border project. Nandap said this includes installing e-gates at international airports in Lagos and Abuja and integrating the advanced passenger information system. She noted that these centers are expected to significantly improve intelligence sharing and operational coordination to enhance national security. The Comptroller General said the ongoing rollout of enhanced e-passports will continue both locally and at the foreign missions until the full transition is achieved.
This media briefing by the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, with the acronym ACON, underscores the significant role marketing communications industry plays in the nation's economic landscape. ACON's emphasis on a robust regulatory framework is crucial for maintaining a balanced and competitive market initiative for the country. By ensuring ethical standards and promoting fair practices, the Council aims to create an environment where the industry can continue to thrive.
As an industry, it is very, very important for us to understand, first, the size of our industry, two, our contribution to the GDP.
We are part of the creative economy, and the creative economy plays a very key role in the agenda of government. But to a large extent, enough attention or projection is not given to the marketing communications industry, which is also a very significant part of the creative economy in Nigeria. And so this is one of the steps we're taking in position our industry in the place that it needs to be.
The briefing also highlights the input of the sectors that contribute to the economic growth of the advertising industry.
In terms of real number, is 605 billion that was spent in Nigeria marketing communications industry in 2023. Now, when you put that in the context of the economy, then think about the data that we have shared of this from the report, which shows that for every naira that is spent, right, there's a multiplier effect of 16.5 naira. What that then means is that if you multiply 605 billion by 16.5, it gives you an idea of the real contribution to the economy.
In the traditional media, for example, we discovered today now that the print is not growing. However, the radio had stagnant growth. For like 3 years was not growing, but it's picking up a little. So these are indicators for practitioners in those areas. The TV is not really growing at a fast rate, but yet it's still growing. So the fear that TV may die will never arise, because you need to understand that with this figure, you can plan, you can do your media planning.
The ACON briefing serves as a crucial reminder of the marketing communications industry's significance in Nigeria's economic landscape.